Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Jessica and I am a speech language pathologist, and I am a real speech language pathologist, and I love to share content, just kind of showing what I am doing in my actual speech room this week with my speech therapy students. And if you are familiar with some of my videos, you know I have weekly themes that I like to do. And this week, our weekly speech therapy theme is travel. So we have been doing all things travel in my speech therapy room. And you also know, if you've been around for a minute, that I each week will pick a theme. Within that theme, I will pick a book to go with it. We usually watch a song, usually on YouTube, or we'll sing a song together that has to do with the theme. And we will then do a play-based activity surrounding that theme. And I have all of these themes available in my TPT store. I have 36 of them, and I am planning to document all of them for you this year, unless, something crazy happens. But like I said, this week our theme is travel. So we are reading Peppa Goes on Holiday. This is the best travel book I have found. If you have a better one, leave me a comment letting me know. I am in the United States, so I don't really call it a holiday. We call it a trip or a vacation. So I kind of changed the words a little bit to the story to make it more like the vocabulary we use here. But overall, it's a great choice for a book for preschoolers working on a travel theme. So for our play-based activity, we went on a trip, and I just did that by bringing a suitcase from home, and I tried to think, what are some things we would take on a trip, if I was taking my kids on a trip. So I packed clothes, I packed sunscreen, I packed sunglasses, I got shorts, I got pants, I got a swimsuit, I got a coat, goggles, pretty much everything I could think of that I could use to target this travel themed vocabulary. And I put it all in the suitcase and I brought it to school with me. And what we did was we first went through the suitcase together, me and my students. We pulled it all out, talked about all of the items in it, and then we talked about the function of the items, or we described the items. Whatever my student needs to work on is how I now modify my session. So they pulled out the stuff, and as we pulled out the things in the suitcase, I then had them go and lay it against the wall just so they could see it all laid out. And as they're pulling out the things, we are again describing what we use the function of the items for. That's what I really like this activity for, is for describing the function of items. Or we could, like I said, describe the clothes. So we laid them all out and put them all up against the wall so that my students could see what was in the suitcase and have an easy visual of that. Now, once my students laid everything out, once it's all laid out against the wall, I changed the purpose or the function of our speech session. So now it goes from us talking about it to the student finding an item and going and putting it back in the suitcase. So I would describe, show me what you wear when it's cold outside, and go put it in the suitcase. And so they would get the coat and put it in the suitcase. So now we're working on naming or identifying the function of objects, and we're working on following two-step directions. Alternatively, you could flip that, and if your student needs to be the one who is describing the function of the object, your student could be giving you the instructions, and they could be telling you, go get what you put on, so you don't get a sunburn, or get what you wear when you're going swimming. So this is a really easy way to work on travel, clothing themed vocabulary. It is a great way to make your speech sessions work on following multiple step directions, on function of objects, naming a described object. It really is, a great all around activity, and I love doing this one. And then I let my students pack up the suitcase and they roll it back to class. So as they are going back to class, I'm using that time as one last review of what we packed in our suitcase for our trip. Now, another thing that I did today was I prepped some early childhood speech therapy parent-teacher handouts. These are, again, something I use every week. So I use those themes every single week. The 36 speech therapy themes we talked about at the beginning. Remember, travel theme? Okay, I also use these parent handouts every single week. And I have not just early childhood parent handouts, I have stuttering parent handouts, I have social language parent handouts, I have AAC parent handouts, I have them in English, I have them in Spanish, I even have them in Tagalog if you need that. Because I feel really, really strongly about making sure my parents and my teachers have a way to be trained on these speech and language strategies. So what I do is I print them all out at one time, because this is going to make it really easy to just prep it once and be done kind of a thing. So for the entire year, for the duration of handouts, I will print them all off at one time. And then what I will do is I will make copies of how many I need. So I needed a parent copy, I need a teacher copy, then I would make 2 copies of these same handouts. I will then label them, parent copy and teacher copy, and I will put them in a folder, and I will then put that folder in my paper thing where I can easily grab it each week. And when I send them out every Monday, I only send out 1 handout a week, because I don't want parents to be overwhelmed by getting too many strategies at one time. I want them to have time to read the strategy, process it, think about, okay, how does this look in my house, or how does this look in my classroom, before I give them, more quote unquote homework or things to do. Slower is better, in my opinion. All right, so I put them in the folder, and then I put the folder in my paper thing, and then each week I pull them out on Monday usually, so that I don't forget. And I put the parent copy goes in the child speech folder, and then I personally will give the teacher copy to the teacher. And that way everybody knows what we're working on, everybody's working on the same thing. I can make sure that the parents and the teachers are on the same handout, and I can make sure that everything is running smoothly. If I have more than one student that I'm giving handouts to, I will just write that student's initials on the sticky note so I can remember whose group of handouts these go to, and I will then kind of binder clip the parent and teacher ones together in the folder. So if you are a big fan of handouts like I am, you can grab these also in my TPT store, and I will put links in the description to both the weekly theme. And I am planning to do a video each week on my theme. So if you want to follow along, go ahead and grab it now, and we can be working together. You can be leaving me some comments and tips on things that you're doing with that theme. I would love that too. Just more ideas are always great. And if you want to follow along, even if you don't want to get the handouts and you want to follow along, come back next week. I would love to have you and share the activities in my speech room with you.